What's going on, YouTube family? Case Host here, back with another video. And today I am gonna review Drake's and PARTYNEXTDOOR's new album, right? You know, the one that came out on the 14th of February. Some Sexy Songs for You, that's the title. And to be honest, for me, I'm over the whole battle and all of that stuff, unless they revive it back. But I think it's dead now, man, leave it. And the main thing is that both artists, Drake and Kendrick, both make good music. And that's what it is. And I'm happy that Drake came back. A lot of people said, and maybe I might have said in past videos, that maybe he should take some time out, let the people miss him. But at the end of the day, the man's a musician, and he came out with this album with his label mate, PARTYNEXTDOOR. I wasn't sure about what I thought of the move, whether he should have done it or he shouldn't have, but I did listen and I enjoyed listening to it. So I'm gonna rate it song by song and give it an overall rating. And this ain't nothing to do with any bias. This is just gonna be strictly on my love for music. If you go through my channel, you'll see that I love music. I've done music. I do DJ mixes and things like that. But yeah, let's get into it, man. So I've got my notes here. So if I look down, it's because I'm reading notes. I literally, listen, I listened to this album 3 times, intense listening experience. Like, I wanted to focus on the music making. I enjoy that stuff. And because I rate Drake already, I knew that this album will be one to listen to, even if they say it's an R&B album or whatever. But anyway, let's get into this track for track. So the album starts off with a track called CN Tower. It was nice to hear that old school sound, or that old school Drake sound. I feel like this track had hits of that, and it felt I think I read the credits and 40 made it. You know them 40 lo-fi R&B sample tracks or whatever? This one just had that vibe and it was nice. It made me feel that, whoa, is this what we're getting for the new album? Has Drake gone back to what we loved him for? Because a lot of people, like For the Dogs, a lot of people were talking about how Drake has changed and he's experimenting too much and it's not the same. It sounded like he was going back to the essence on this track. So yeah, I liked the track for that reason. So the productions, a lot of the productions on this album are by multiple people. Let me just say that, and I'm not gonna say every single person. But on this one, it was 40, a guy called Kid Masterpiece, and Prep. So overall, this song to me was okay. It was nice to hear that essence, the old school Drake's kind of style, but it was okay. Okay, so the second track, Mothballs. Pause.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
This one just about makes it for me. Just about. I have mixed feelings about PARTYNEXTDOOR on this album. Now, PARTYNEXTDOOR as an artist, I rate him. I think he's good, but I don't like everything he does. I only like certain tracks of PARTYNEXTDOOR. I'm not like a consistent fan of his. Like, it's like some things work, some things don't. Didn't really like the last album. Some of his stuff with Drake I like, some of them I don't. Like, it's just he's a bit inconsistent for me in what I look for when I'm rating a musician. But there was a track I did like him on, which I'll come back to later. But yeah, on this one, wasn't really feeling it. The second verse, yeah, especially the second half of the second verse from Drake, he sounds a lot like Young Thug. It's like he took that vibe. Yeah, the flow that he had was cold, but to me it sounded too much like Young Thug. So for this track, Mothballs just about makes it for me. Number 3, Something About You. So for me, on this track, the first half up to the hook is cold. Flow's cold. The hook is smooth. The hook is cold as well. The hook is smooth, where he says something about you, something about you. That is that was a nice flow, and again it reminded me of old school Drake. Party Next Door starts off cold on this track, but as Drake joins, from that point the track gets underwhelming. You know, when they're doing back and forth vocals, it starts to get underwhelming. It's like, okay, give it a rest. But yeah, I think that tune had potential if they kept it simple. Because on this album, they're doing a lot of beat switches, which can be fun. And on some tracks, it's cold. But there's some songs that you just want to hear like a consistent vibe that kind of stays the same. So that one had potential to be that, but then it changes up towards the end and it's like, am I actually feeling this? Crying in Chanel, the next track after that, cold melody. The breakdown / bridge is cold, and so is the production. So Crying in Chanel definitely makes it for me. Spider-Man, Superman, that's the track after that. And I wrote here that it's got a nice melody, it's got that old school R&B feel, which you know we love. It's a nice vibe, and Party complemented this song too. So Spider-Man and Superman makes it. Then the track after that, called Deeper, Party's melodies are dope, and the harmonies are on point, right? The next one, Small Town Fame. This track, the beat is amazing. Oh yeah, this beat was so cold. Like the samples, so cold. Again, took it back to the essence. Lovely vocal sampling, and Drake and his team has always been good at that, you know. There's so many producers on this one. If you look at the credits, there's a whole list. The beat change is insane. That's what I wrote. But the vocal performance weren't all that. So this one, Small Town Fame, for me, what really made it was the production. So big up the producers on that one. Okay, and then the track after that is called Pimmy's Dilemma. Pimmy's Dilemma just proves that Drake is a great A&R. On all of his playlist projects, he tends to introduce us to a new artist, or he brings in an artist that he rates, and we may have heard. This girl had a nice voice, and I'm looking forward to hearing more of her music. The track after that is called Brian Still. Again, came with that Atlanta vibe, that Young Thug Atlanta vibe, and it's like, I feel like, unfortunately, and this might be mad to say, that since this whole vulture conversation has been a thing, and Kendrick kind of said that he uses Atlanta to get popping, I kind of now want Drake to do his Toronto thing, and I'm more comfortable listening to that than him sounding like he's from the A. So, but that could be a personal thing, because actually Drake does it well, but I weren't really feeling it, to be honest. I'll be real with you, I weren't really feeling it. If I want that vibe, I'm going to Thug, Future, Gunna, do you know what I mean? So, yeah man, but that's my opinion. Okay, Give Me a Hug, the track after Brian Still. This one is up there. I've got two favorites, and I'm gonna say my second favorite in a minute. This is one of my favorite tracks on the album, and imagine he's rapping in this one. So yeah man, so for me, yeah, what I got from this track is that it's him reminding himself who he is after this battle that he's had, and after the world viewing him a certain way, or after all the talks about him recently. It's like he's talking to himself, reminding himself who he is, and he's also using this time on the album to vent a bit. Yeah, he's speaking to the haters, and he has a few funny lines in it. Like, one funny one is, if I die, these niggas will come the sole beneficiary, and what the fuck they gonna do with it? Have girls up in 29 twerking with a dictionary. Obviously, he rapped it with a better flow. I'm just reading the lyrics as I heard it, but I'm reading it, so it's not gonna sound that so great. But what I got from that bar, yeah, is a slight jab to artists like Kendrick, who use big words, who they say has lyrical content, all of that. He's saying, if you take the throne, if I die, if I'm really out of here, and you take the throne, what are you gonna do with it? Because in some lines after that, he does say, fuck a rap beef, I'm trying to get the party lit. So I think he's now running with that. If that's his identity, that let it be. And I've said it like multiple times on this channel when I've spoke about the battle. I have actually said that for me, if I'm trying to get lit, if I'm with chicks, I'm listening to Drake. If I'm trying to think, I'm listening to Kendrick. So he's honing in on that and I'm running with it. And rightly so. You got to back yourself in it. So that was quite a funny line, because imagine a girl on the stage twerking with a dictionary. Like, it just don't go. But what he needs to understand is Kendrick's music's not for that. If he is taking shots, he might not, but I think he is. Yeah. What else have I got? The Melissa Ford reference. Melissa Ford, you're a legend from the 6. Hate to see you with a D sucker. So obviously, me, I watch the Joe Budden podcast. Mel is with Joe Budden in terms of co-host on his platform. So I could only imagine that's to Joe Budden, because Joe has been very vocal about how he feels about Drake, the things Drake has done in his career. Even though Joe Budden plays it like, you know, he's just being fair and just saying his opinion, everyone kind of knows there's a bit of static there with him and Drake. Like, it feels like it's a love-hate relationship. So, of course, Drake had to say something, because Joe Budden has been very vocal about backing Kendrick in this beef, and just generally how he speaks on Drake. He acts like he don't rate him, but then will give him the odd compliment here and there to style it out, if you get what I mean. So I think Drake just had enough and just, you know, let out on him. And he did it subliminally, like he didn't say a direct shot. So we're all thinking, who's he talking about? Who? Is it Flip? Can't be Flip, because no one's ever heard of any beef with Drake and Flip. Could it be Melissa's man? Does Melissa have a man? We don't know. So yeah, man. My guess is Joe Budden. But yeah, like I said, this was his track to address everything that's going on, speak to the haters, vent, and encourage himself. Remind himself who he is, that he's the one. Do you get what I'm saying? What I also loved so much about this track is the beat switch into that I Miss You sample. I miss you, hey, I'm talking to you, baby. Hey, what? When I heard that, hey, this track, you know me, yeah, I'm like, I listen to tracks like I'm in a rave. Like, if you make me reload this song, I just know it's a banger, it's a slap. Like, I reloaded Give Me a Hug like 3 times. Like, I just needed to hear it again and again and again. It was so cold. The switch up was so cold. What I loved as well is how he chose this opportunity to vent, but still made it relevant to the whole R&B concept of the album. Because towards the end, he's talking to the girls in the club saying, give me a hug, you know. And it's just a vibe, man. It's just a vibe. It's a vibe. This is probably the strongest track on the album for me. The next track after that, see, these are my favorite two. Give Me a Hug and Raining in Houston. Raining in Houston, mad. Bad boy track.
Good job.
The vocal performance was amazing. Like, this wasn't, a lot of people, like, Drake is like Marmite when it comes to his singing. Some people hate it. Some people love it. I think this one's undeniable. I think he had an amazing vocal performance on it. And melodically, the vibe, everything just was on point for me. So yeah, loved Raining in Houston. The track after that is called Lasers. Didn't rate it. I've got nothing really to say about it. Didn't rate it. The one after that is called Meet Your Padre. Padre.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Padre. Let me not even try. Anyway. And I already tried it. Come on, Solomon. But anyway, yeah. For me, this track, I was actually feeling it. Like, I've heard mixed reviews about this one. I like it. Like, and I've kind of had enough of Drake, like, taking from different things and trying it himself. The UK one, I'll get to that anyway. I wasn't feeling that, but I'll explain why in a minute. But this one, for me, it worked. I don't know how the Spanish people feel about it, but for me, it worked. It was a vibe. It shows his range. Let's just say it shows his range, right? Party also did his thing at the end too. I rated what Party did at the end of that one. The one after that is called Nokia. Now, it's weird because this is actually a fan favorite, but it's not for me. I don't really rate it. It sounds like it's one that will pop up on the TikTok and Reels and all of that. So I guess he's got to have a track like that, but not my thing. The track after that is called Die Trying. Now this is an indie vibe. I actually really like this one as well. It had an indie vibe to it. I think Drake performed well. The songwriting is on point. Party shouldn't have been on it. He doesn't really go with this vibe. It should have just been Yeba and Drake, because she also performed well in this. So I like it. I think that this could actually be a single and enter like some indie charts and whatever. Like, it was a vibe. I liked it. The track after that is called Somebody Loves Me. I think Party came in strong, and both of them had a good performance on this one. So I'm rating Somebody Loves Me. Celibacy. Drake had a dope vocal performance. He did reference Not Like Us in this one. We're not like them and they're not like us. I think that's a bit weird, okay, but Kendrick's already said it, so why do you need to say it?
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you.
We don't care.
But each to their own. It's a bit weird, but he performed well on this track. Party actually did his thing too. OMW, On My Way. I'm not really feeling it. Drake did perform well, but not really feeling it. The track after that, Glorious. I don't like it. Yeah, this is the one. He tried the UK flow, and I'm like, Drake, like, give it a rest, please. Like, he used our slang and all of that. It don't work for me.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
Because the origins of this flow and the way my UK brothers sound, it's like we've got our own thing going on, and I'm sorry, it just don't work hearing it from him. Like, if we're gonna have this drill sound, I rate people like Pop Smoke, Fivio Foreign. They have their own style on it. They're not flowing like UK guys. But Drake really tries to adopt this UK thing, and I don't know. I know that in Toronto Toronto and London have a lot of similarities, but this is definitely a London sound, and to me it didn't work. It didn't work. It sounds off. The cadence is off, and yeah. The Party Next Door's bit was also forced. It shouldn't have been there. Like, don't rate this drop. Don't rate Glorious at all. When She's Gone. So for me, this was Party Next Door's best performance on the album. Really felt what he done. Really liked it. I like how their use of ad-libs, especially on Drake's part when it's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. If you listen to it, you get what I mean. I just think it had a good flow and it was quite different. So I'm rating that one, When She's Gone. And the last one, Greedy. Greedy is a nice song. They even had a little duet / harmony thing. And that sounded cool. It worked well, him and Party. So yeah, that sums up the album. And for me, I think it was a good album. Like, if I'm to sum up, it was a good album. I don't think it was great though. And if I'm to judge it out of 10, I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. But I think it was enough to keep Drake relevant and make room for Drake to still be able to make music comfortably and be rated as the artist he is. But I don't reckon it's going to completely get Drake out of the hole and reputation damage that has happened that easily. But like I said to my friend, Drake fans, he satisfied them. They will love this and just the moves around it. And lovers of music should actually rate it to a certain degree. I don't think like it's great. It's not going to be something to shout about in a few years. But I think it's good enough to acknowledge that, yeah, Drake's a talented artist. And that is how I would sum that up. And Drake is doing 3 days in Wireless. He's basically the headline of Wireless for all 3 days. So it's going to be an interesting year. It looks like Drake is going to be able to revive his career, but it's going to take a lot, I think. It's going to take a lot of moves. He's busy, he's booked and busy, so that's a good sign already. But yeah, I'm just happy to hear good music, and I'm happy that, you know, moving forward, we can hear music from both of them, and no one's like dead in the ground, or no one's like completely out of it, do you know what I mean? But yeah, anyway, let me know what you thought of the album. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out.